Now for us console gamers, stick drift has always been a huge issue over the years. No matter how fancy or expensive your gamepad is, it's almost certain that with time it might suffer from stick drift. Over the past few years, all major brands have released new versions of their most popular controllers, which use traditional potentiometer-based joysticks that are prone to stick drift. So this is still a pretty big issue. There are many quick fixes to try and repair your joystick drift, and you can find tons of guides on how to fix that. However, some controller brands have started using completely different joystick technology in the form of Hall Effect Joysticks. The key difference between potentiometer and Hall Effect Joysticks is that the need for a physical connection is completely removed. Hall Effect sensors use the Hall Effect phenomenon to detect the position of the joystick. When the joystick is moved, the magnetic field changes, causing the sensor to detect movement. Hall Effect sensors are also more durable and have much longer lifespan. And a couple of weeks ago, GameSir have unveiled their Xbox accessory in the form of the G7 SE wired controller that is reportedly the world's first Xbox controller with Hall Effect joysticks and triggers. We have that controller right here, and we'll be unboxing and testing it in this video. So once you order the G7 SE, it arrives in this box. We get all the essential info and specs written on the side. And we also get 1 month of Game Pass Ultimate Access, which is an awesome bonus. One thing I forgot to mention is that the controller is compatible with the Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and Windows 10 and 11 PCs. There's also a dedicated app which allows you to further customize the controller. Once we open the box, we find the USB-A to USB Type-C cable. Keep in mind that this is a wired-only controller. The cable is braided and it looks pretty durable. Next we have the controller itself, the user manual, and the Game Pass Ultimate code. Let's focus on the controller and its design, ergonomics, and build quality. In general, the shape of the controller is pretty much identical to that of the original Xbox Series S or X controller. And if you're used to that, it will be a pretty familiar experience in terms of overall feel. The back is textured for extra grip, and the controller feels incredibly well built. I can go as far as to say it feels more well built than the PS5 controller, which kind of tends to squeak. So good job on the build quality. Again, we have the standard asymmetrical thumbstick design, which I absolutely love. The G7 SE sits nice and comfortable in my hand. The thumbstick movement is also really fluid. The blue-green accent rings around the thumbsticks are made from anti-friction material, which further enhances the overall fluidity. The X, Y, A and B buttons provide a tactile and responsive feel. They are not as clicky as the X, Y and B buttons on the original Xbox Series S controller, and they offer a tiny bit softer feel when pressed. Compared to the Xbox controller, here the buttons feel less sloppy and loose. Moving on to the D-pad, we have the old-school cross design, which is very intuitive to use. Overall, nothing special here, it feels nice and responsive. One of the extra features of the G7 SE controller is the M program button, which sits in between the D-pad and the right analog stick. This button has 2 functions. First, we can use it along with the D-pad to control the volume. The second function is to map any of the controller buttons to the L4 and R4 back buttons that the controller also has. These back buttons are an awesome addition and offer us high level of flexibility and providing quick and easy access to frequently used buttons. The L4 and R4 buttons are fairly big, nicely positioned and easy to access. A cool function is that we are able to lock any of the back buttons for when you don't want to accidentally press them. And finally we have the trigger and bumper buttons. The trigger buttons are textured as well, which provides excellent grip and control during gameplay. Just as the thumbsticks, the triggers also use Hall Effect, which results in a precise and responsive input. The overall feel is pretty close to the original Xbox Series S and X controller. So guys, now that we've covered all the buttons and design features, let's actually plug in the controller and test it with some actual games. First, I want to test it with my Acer Nitro 5 laptop. There's a dedicated app available on the Microsoft Store, which allows you to further customize the controller functions and even update the firmware. We can customize the X, Y, A and B buttons, the sticks, the triggers, and there's even a hair trigger function, which is awesome for FPS games. First, I will test GTA 5 with the G7 SE controller. Now, as we already said, one of the standout features of the GameSir G7 SE is its co-effect joysticks. These joysticks provide ultra-precise control, making movement feel smooth and accurate. This is also the case in GTA 5, all the shooting and driving feels extremely fluid and easy to master. It literally didn't take me any time to get used to the controller. Next, I also tested the controller with my Xbox Series S. There's no setting up process, it's pretty much plug and play. And now we can set up the back buttons. All we have to do is press the M button and one of the back buttons. The light will start to blink, which means we're in the remap mode. Now we just have to press the button that we want to assign to the back button. In this case, I want to remap the A button to the R4 back button. And it's the same for the other back button. After spending some time in Fortnite with the GameSir G7 SE, I can say I'm pretty happy with its performance. The Effect Joysticks deliver precise control, allowing for smooth movement and accurate aiming. It's definitely an improvement over the traditional analog sticks. Throughout the gameplay, the controller remained comfortable to hold even during intense battles. The ergonomic design and no-slip grip made it easy to maintain control without straining my hands. Moving on to Warzone 2, one thing I noticed that the GameSir G7 SE's responsiveness was quite consistent, with no noticeable input lag or delay. This is essential in competitive games like Fortnite or Warzone, where split-second decisions can be the difference between victory or defeat. So whether you're a casual player or more oriented towards competitive gaming, the GameSir G7 SE Effect gaming controller could be a decent choice. The controller is solid and well built, it offers precise controls and wide customization options through the app. The Effect technology used in this controller means that it has increased longevity. The affordable price is also a huge plus. The G7 SE retails for $44.99. GameSir also provided a discount code, and if you liked the controller, you can purchase it at an even lower price. Store links can be found in the video description. And as always guys, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.